now, right now. Right 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 now, right now. Oh, I got a real good feeling.
We try to bring you high-quality educational and informational content every single day. Why do you think the price is having such an anemic time? The news story of the hour. Jump onto the chart. Is this the beginning of a massive financial unraveling? We've got to add a little addendum to the show map today. So we start here on the daily. Now, we've been looking at the RSI on Bitcoin's daily chart for the last several days. It always has been, but it's been increasing over the last 50 years since the government has been getting bigger. Hey guys, what's going on? Jeb here, and welcome back to Coffee and Crypto Live. This is your weekdaily morning show where we bring you the latest in everything Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. And in today's episode, we are going to be asking one very, very sought-after question. Is there more pain in store for Bitcoin? You see, Bitcoin has had a trying couple of weeks. We originally rallied all the way up to $72,000 before dropping $13,700 over the last 17 days, over the course of 17 days. And from there, we have seen a small recovery. Small is the only word for it. Bitcoin has not seen a very large recovery at all. Over the last couple of days, we have seen somewhat of a recovery, but it wasn't really much. We broke through the resistance here at $62,500, but we fell right back down towards the exact same level again. Here's the problem, guys. When Bitcoin sees a breakout, you are hoping to see a major breakout, but when you see a smaller breakout such as this one, it doesn't give you much confidence in the concept of a continual cascade of bullishness to the upside. And so the question that we have to ask ourselves today is the same question that is being asked in this article. Bitcoin and crypto are closing out a lame quarter, which is true. And one analyst believes more pain could be in store. Today, we're going to be kind of diving into this article and picking apart some of the concepts in it. And we're going to talk about where Bitcoin is going in Q3. Because, of course, right now, we are beginning Q3. We're moving into quarter 3. January, February, March, quarter 1. May, April, June, Q2. July, August, September, Q3. We are moving into quarter 3 of the year. We are also, at the same time, beginning H2. Have to. Not that we have to, but it is have to. Right? Halftime, right? So that's where we are right now. Bitcoin's moving into the next phase. Today, we're going to talk about what the next half of 2024 is going to look like. Of course, the beginning of 2024 was exceptionally bullish. Quarter 1 saw an enormous rally on Bitcoin. Quarter 1 was one of the most bullish times that we have ever seen in the history of Bitcoin. From December 31st through March 31st, we saw, just date to date, end of the quarter to end of the quarter, a 66% rally. Nestled within quarter 1, we saw from very bottom to very top a 92% rally in the span of 50 days. It was a very exciting time. But the rest of that quarter, from March 31st to June 31st, which was yesterday, or June 30th, I'm sorry, we actually saw a drop. So quarter over quarter, we saw a major rally in Q1. Quarter over quarter in Q2, we saw a corrective movement. Bitcoin's been trading sideways this entire time. Today, we're going to be talking about where Bitcoin goes next, and more importantly, how we can build wealth in this season. You see, it's interesting because I have kind of turned into a guru or a teacher or whatever you want to call it of two major philosophies. First and foremost being cryptocurrency at large, and the second being how to build wealth. And so today, we're going to be combining both of those doctrines, and we're going to talk about how to build wealth in cryptocurrency the financially sovereign way. And part of the way that we build wealth in a financially sovereign way is by having as much information and data as we possibly can. Anyone who's ever watched a war movie or played a war game or played a grand strategy video game like Civilization or Stellaris or whatever kind of game you might have played, or played Battleship or Monopoly or any kind of strategy game, you understand the importance of information, because information allows you to make good decisions. You need to be able to read people if you're going to succeed in business. You need to be able to look at them and know what they're thinking, because you understand them. You need to be able to understand people, and you need to be able to have as much information as you possibly can to discern where you should go next. And so today we're going to be doing some technical analysis and talking about where we are heading next. Before we get started, I do want to let you guys know about one of our sponsors who I'm very excited to share with you about today, and they would be none other than NordVPN. If you guys have not already signed up for NordVPN, you're missing out, and the reason that you ought to sign up for NordVPN is quite simple, really. You know, in the traditional stock business, in the stock market, it's pretty well known that you've got to take security very seriously. You're dealing with a huge percentage of your net worth in your stock accounts, in your retirement accounts, in your 401ks, in your Roth IRAs, in your traditional IRAs, your brokerages accounts, your HSAs, your whatever, name it. You've got to take security very seriously because you don't want to lose a large portion of your net worth. But in cryptocurrency, we've got this Wild West, be a fool kind of mentality of we don't need to spend money on security. We've got this idea that, oh, it's fine. It's decentralized. I'm safe. No, you're not. You're actually even more exposed because you're the one the hacker is going after. If you have your brokerage account on Fidelity, they're going after Fidelity most of the time, right? The point I'm making here is that we pay so few fees in cryptocurrency. We have so little overhead, so little amount of money that we have to pay to protect ourselves in cryptocurrency compared to what you pay in the stock market. And so people balk at the idea of signing up for NordVPN, getting a 2-year plan for under $200 and protecting yourself from cyber criminals and thieves and hackers. And here's the fact of the matter. When you are browsing online, there are people out there that are trying to hurt you. They're trying to steal from you. And so if you have not already, you should sign up for NordVPN.com by going to NordVPN.com/Jeb and signing up because it is going to help to protect you while you browse online. It's that simple. So sign up for NordVPN, keep it online, keep it on, especially anytime that you're on public Wi-Fi, and it'll help you to stay safe. Let's read a little bit of chat, and then we're going to dive right on into it. Alex Nivo's in chat, Crypto Neb's in chat, Joe Bollier's in chat, Sean O'Brien is here, Luigi Fibonacci is in chat. Said, where are the viewers at, bro? Crazy. I know, right? That's the thing. A lot of people kind of dip. They head for the hills whenever the market's not doing very bullish. That's the cool thing about this channel. Even when the market's not very interesting, we've always got something to talk about because there's 150,000 different ways to build wealth. We've got a lot of things that we need to do to build wealth. It's not just about the market going up. And so make sure that you hit that subscribe button and stay tuned to the channel. Grand Roofing Incorporated is in chat. Shout out to you, my friend. Thank you for tuning in. Rick4962 is in chat saying prayers. Good morning to you as well, Rick. Very excited to have you in chat. We appreciate you being here. Thank you so much. Queen's in chat. Mike Lowry in chat. Thank you very much to all of our moderators. Really quickly, I want to give anybody who is new here a big shout out. So if you are here for the first time, or this is the first few times you've been here, or you've never heard me say this, or maybe this is just the first time you've caught a live stream live, I want you to go ahead and put a hands up emoji in chat, right? I want you to go ahead and let us know that you are in chat. And just kind of wave. Here, I'll put a wave in chat, right? Just do that. Just give a wave in chat so I can give you a shout out and we can make sure that you feel very, very welcome. Anybody who you see giving a wave emoji like that, make sure to give them some love. Let them know they're welcome here and that we're going to help them to build wealth and also try and convince them to subscribe to the channel because we've got some content that is going to help them to build wealth and to be better off with money. And that is our dream. So let's get started. Over the last 24 hours, Bitcoin is up slightly, and this is something we talked about earlier. Bitcoin has actually broken bullish here and has actually set a new level of support that used to be a level of resistance. And that is something that is very, very significant. When we have a breakout here above resistance, and we see this breakout above resistance happen, then what we need to do is we need to see how the market responds to it. We've seen the market fall back down to the level of support and is holding right here. It's holding. And so this is a good sign. This is strictly speaking a good sign, right? Because Bitcoin has broken the resistance and has come back down and tested as support. This level just went from, in kind of crypto Jeb lexicon here, it's gone from red, right, as resistance. It's gone to blue as support, which is how we normally draw our support. This is important because this is essentially like, you know, your grandma taking a step upstairs. She made it one more step, right? She's a little bit closer to safety, but my God, you've got to get that lady a Stairmaster. That's why you need to subscribe to the channel and let me teach you how to make you some money because holy cow, those things are expensive, right? But this is like Granny taking one step up. Here's the problem, though. The step up that we're seeing right here kind of looks like the way Granny would take a step up the stairs, right? It's just a tiny little step. It's just a little step. At this rate, it's going to take her a year to get up there. And if it takes her that long to get up there, the poor lady's going to get exhausted and fall down the stairs, and we don't want that. And that's what's happening to Bitcoin right now. We're taking such a long time to get upstairs that it's starting to look like it's just not going to happen at all. Bitcoin was very, very good at falling down the stairs. Broken hip. Fall down 19%. And from there, it's really not funny. Anybody who's had a grandmother have that happen to them, it's really not funny. But then we've only rallied 9% in 6 days. Dropped 20%. In other words, $13,500 in 18 days. But in the next 6 days, we've only rallied a few $1,000s. So that is concerning. That leads us to the conclusion that Bitcoin's really got to get its act together. If we're going to see a major breakout, then we really need to start seeing some movement. So let's go ahead and give a shout out here. LER giving a wave. Shout out to you, LER. Welcome to the stream. So glad you're here. Crypto Independent. I know you're feeling pretty independent, but I'm hoping that we can help you with some crypto content. Welcome to the channel. KMT Naman in chat. Shout out to you, my friend. Good morning. And Crypto Corey gave us a wave. Good morning. Welcome to the stream. I am so glad you're here. We love you. Thank you so much for tuning in. It is our mission to help you guys understand the principles of financial sovereignty. Those principles that I've talked about a lot and we'll be talking about more as we go on here. Those principles will help you to build wealth. Anybody in chat, tell them. Does it work? Does it not? I'm going to share with you exactly how wise people build wealth. They choose FinSol. They live on less than they make. They have a written plan for their money. They get out of debt. They save and invest, and they're radically generous. And when you do those things, you end up building wealth. Which is kind of what happens. If you do that for long enough, you end up becoming a millionaire. Not that long from now. In fact, I'll say this. I am extremely confident that any one of you watching, so long as you live in a free market, as in you're not living under communism, you're not, you're not living in a communist nation or a nation that has such sky-high taxes that it's almost impossible to build wealth. If you are living in a free nation that has a free market economy that is capitalistic, I love capitalism. I firmly believe that of all the economic systems, capitalism is the closest thing we have to what God would intend on a national scale. I firmly believe in capitalism. Does it have its faults? Yes, absolutely. Is anything perfect in this world? No. But what I will tell you is that if you live in a capitalistic system, in other words, you live in a system where your work can actually lead to you building wealth. Not you work and that leads to the government building wealth, but you work and that leads to you building wealth. At least you get to keep a lot of it, right? You might not get to keep all of it, but at least you get to keep a lot of it. In a system like that, if you follow the principles of financial sovereignty, you will be well off. Give yourself 10 years, you will be a millionaire. I guarantee you, if you follow what I teach you, I promise you, if you live in a free market and you are able-bodied, and you've got work ethic, and you've got hunger, and you're saying to yourself, I want something different than what I had. I don't want to live the way that I lived. I don't want to leave what was left to me. Or you are like my son. I call my son Silver Spoon sometimes. We're in like the top 1% of earners for anybody our age. Our personal income, not even just the company, is well over, a lot more. And we're very blessed by this. I'm not bragging. This is a gift from God, but is much more than even the median average American is 65, 70. We make more than that. And we're 23 and 24. So I call my son Silver Spoon, right? Maybe you're like my son. I kind of mock him a little bit. I'm like, your mommy and daddy didn't grow up like this. Heck no. So I call him Silver. Even if you're Silver Spoon and you're thinking, man, I just want to figure out what my parents did right. And I want to replicate that. Because I had such an awesome childhood, and I want my kids to have that. I want the people around me to see what I saw in my parents, whatever it is. I'm going to show you how to succeed. And it's going to be countercultural. Because as Jesus or Jesus, probably Jesus said, there's no such thing as capitalism in a kingdom mindset. Like I said, capitalism is the closest thing that I think we're going to get to. Ultimately, capitalism is not everything. But what is everything is working to earn money. What is everything is investing and saving money. What is everything is being generous. What is everything is getting out of debt. What is everything is honoring God by choosing financial sovereignty. What is everything is living on less than you make and having a written plan for your money. Call that whatever you want. Capitalism comes close to that, but it's not exactly that. That's the financial sovereignty. Those are the laws of financial sovereignty. And when you follow them, you'll succeed. So again, let's apply those to cryptocurrency. Here's the issue that I'm having right now. Bitcoin broke bullish, broke above $62,500. This is a tiny step. One small step for crypto. One tiny step for crypto. Not much, right? It's not much. I'm concerned about this. If we look on the daily chart here, RSI, MACD, they're looking good. Like, there's potential here. We broke bullish here above RSI. The 14 interval moving average on RSI here. 14 interval moving average here, RSI, daily chart. We just broke above that. This is technically a buy signal, right? This is technically a confirmation of bullishness. MACD, converging bullish. Happy about that. This could develop into something later this week. At the current moment in time, though, what I'm seeing is that we've got a long way to go to even break bullish here above the trend catcher on LUX Algo, which means a buy signal would likely be coming after that. I need to see LUX Algo, I need to see Bitcoin, as a result of LUX Algo, break at least $65,000 before I start being heavily on the bullish camp. That's what I need to see. And I haven't seen that yet. I haven't seen this strong V bottom, right? You know, if you take a racquetball, right? Who's ever had a racquetball? Those things are so much fun. That's what I'm thinking of, right? So it's little, they're like this big. They're like the size of a fist. And those things are just solid rubber and they just bounce like hell. You throw it on the ground, it's 30 feet in the air. When the market is really feeling bullish, the kind of bounce you see is the kind of bounce that you see when you throw a racquetball at the ground. It's like this. You throw a racquetball at the ground and the market bounces higher than the height that you threw it from. Let's say you are 6 feet tall. You throw it, your hand, when you release the ball, is probably 4.5, 5 feet off the ground. So if you just dropped it, it would probably bounce 3 or 4 feet. If you throw it, it'll bounce 20 feet, right? If there's actual strength in the bulls and the market was actually thrown into the support, like you jumped on a trampoline from something, right? Then you would expect the market, now this wouldn't happen with a trampoline actually, but if you did it with racquetball, right, you would expect the market to bounce higher than where it started. That's not what we're seeing right now. The market dropped from this height. Just follow the analogy here. Drop from this height, and we bounced about a quarter of the way up. What is that like? That's like you dropped a, I don't know, not even a tennis ball. You know, if you drop, let's say, just physics, right? I come from a physics background, so this is helpful for me. Hopefully this is helpful for you. Let's say you drop a ball, and this is the height that you drop it. From the top of the market up here, down to the bottom of the market right here. If you drop a tennis ball, probably going to bounce like that, right? It's quite bouncy. If you throw a tennis ball, it's probably going to bounce all the way up there, right? If you drop like a bowling ball, it's going to bounce like this. That's kind of what we're looking at right now. The market kind of bounced like a bowling ball, not like a racquetball. And that's really the concern there, is that the market didn't bounce very hard. And it almost doesn't even seem like there was much force put into whatever ball it was that bounced, because we didn't bounce very high. So hopefully you can track with the strange analogies. I'm the king of them. I've been awarded king of weird analogies. That's what the belt is on the shelf back there. No, I'm kidding. But the point here is, if Bitcoin was really strong, we'd be seeing more momentum, and we're not. So I'm interested in the MACD. I'm interested in the RSI. I'm hoping some jetpack comes on Bitcoin and we start moving to the upside. But at the current point in time, while we are shifting to the bullish side, I'm not very confident in this current stage of the market. So let's also look at some other things here, because not just Bitcoin we've got to look at, right? Ethereum is rallying. We're up 4% on ETH in the last 7 days. We're up to $3,400. That is a little bit more exciting to me. If we look at Ethereum here, we've got a slightly larger rally, right? We are in this rising trading channel, but even then, this rising trading channel just looks like a bear flag against this correction that we just saw. It just looks like a bear flag. So in short, I suppose I could shorten this. In short, I'm not very confident in this bottom on Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. I'm just not. And frankly, part of that also comes from the fact I'm not exactly the most confident in where the stock market's going next. Bitcoin and crypto follow the United States stock market. And the U.S. stock market has been trading sideways for the last week and a half, a very slow end of Q2. And Q2 has ended now, right? So we've opened Q3. And Q2 in U.S. stocks was very bullish. Don't mistake me here. Q2 in U.S. stocks and U.S. equities was like a 5% movement. Nestled in that was like a 10%, 11% movement. So that's great. That's wonderful. But at the current moment, it is kind of falling over, and that's not exactly the most bullish backdrop for you to see a rally coming in on Bitcoin. take a sip of our rare coffee nowadays. I don't drink coffee very often, but I decided to have a little bit today. Very little bit. Very weak coffee. Decided to have a little bit here. So where does that lead us? And more importantly, how do we build wealth in this market? That's something that we need to pay very close attention to. All right. Here's the deal. When we are looking at building wealth in cryptocurrency, the first thing that we've got to do, just getting a few things together there. The first thing that we've got to do is we've got to come at this from a principled standpoint. To explain exactly why, let me put it this way. I was walking to get lunch one time with some of my former employees, and one of them asked me, Jeb, how do you make decisions so quickly? Because I was kind of, I don't want to say mentoring, but teaching these guys some things. And one of them asked me, Jeb, how do you make decisions so quickly? And I said, that's because I have a very extensive set of principles. I have a principle that it's literally engraved on the inside of my wife and I's wedding ring. It says, love like Jesus. It's like my personal mission statement, is I want to love the world the way that Jesus loved the world. In other words, he died for the world. He gave everything he possibly could for the world because he loves the world so much. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son, that all who should believe should not perish but have everlasting life. Where have you ever heard that before, right? I want to love like Jesus. That's a principle of mine. So if I am presented with a decision and one of those choices is not showing the love of Christ, I'm not going to pick it. And so if you come to me and say, hey, Jeb, I can help you make $1 million. Either one, we could go start this business and we help a bunch of people, but it's going to take a lot of work and maybe it might take 10 years. Or we could just go rob a bank and do it today. And those are my only two options. I'm going to pick building the business and taking the long route because robbing a bank is not loving like Jesus, right? I'm not thinking about it. I don't have to think about it. And when those people came to me and they were asking me, how do I make decisions so quickly? I told them it's because I have a lot of principles. I don't lie. I had someone lie to me one time when I was in 10th grade about another individual. I won't get into too many details here, but I had one individual lie to me. They told me 3 lies about one individual. They were trying to convince me to take their side in an argument. I went and confronted the other person about these accusations. They told me they were lies. And I went back to the person that made the accusation, and it was a lie. Had I not investigated and had I just blindly believed in the lie, this other person was suicidal. Because I didn't believe the lie, I was able to support them through that time. And whether they would have offed themselves or not, that's a horrible way of saying that. I'm sorry. Whether they would have ended their own life or not, I'm glad they didn't. I was there to support them, right? Forgive me. I didn't mean for that to be insensitive. This is a person I care very much about, by the way. But anyway, whether they would have done it or not, I don't know. But had I believed the lie, they might have, right? I wouldn't have been there to support them. Instead, I would have maybe been antagonistic to them. I was not a Christian at the time. I was kind of a jerk, to be quite honest with you. So I definitely don't want to take any credit. I'm just saying I have a principle that I have principles. And those principles guide me. It makes it very simple to make a lot of decisions because I've already thought about it. I've already decided what my principles are, which any man or woman who claims to be mature has to have some principles. This is what my worldview. This is how I go through life. And then those decisions are able to be made quickly. What's my point here? First of all, that's good life advice just in general, but how do we apply it? Because I'm going to apply it. In finances, I stumbled around for half a decade trying to figure out, man, I know how to make a lot of money, but for some reason I'm not growing it. What's going on here? And so, in the first 5 years of my career, I probably made over $4 million. And I ended up not keeping a lot of it. And looking back on it, in the first 5 years of my career, I realized what it is. I didn't have sound money principles that I followed no matter what. And that creates weakness that the market will use against you. And after doing this, at the end of this month, for 7 years, I have developed biblical principles that are also tried and true from just about every single wealthy person you will ever run into in your entire life. So even if you're not a Christian, even if you think the Bible's nonsense, which it's not, it's the Holy Spirit breathed inerrant word of God Almighty himself. But even if you don't believe it, this is how rich people build wealth in the first place. And those principles are the principles of financial sovereignty. They are 6 laws, 10 steps. The 6 laws of financial sovereignty, which we're about to apply, so track with me here, are, as I said earlier, to choose financial sovereignty. Financial sovereignty means to be under God and his teaching, above the world, and in control. I am not mastered by the world. That's why I stopped drinking coffee every day. Having it right now because I have the ability to enjoy it because I conquered the addiction I had to it, right? I'm above the world. I am not mastered by anything, but I will be master over those things which I have been, over those things which have been placed in my stewardship. I am under God in his teaching because Matthew 5:5 says, blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. I don't care that much about inheriting the earth, but I want to inherit resources that I can then use to build the kingdom and love like Jesus, because that's my mission statement, right? That's my personal call in life. I want to love the world like Jesus, and I happen to know that I can love like Jesus if I'm broke, but I can reach a lot more people if I have resources. So I want to be under God in his teaching because blessed are the meek. The meek are those that submit to another's teaching, right? A good apprentice is meek towards his master because he's willing to learn from his master so that he can become like his master, right? I am meek towards God in his teaching and what he says. So I'm under him in his teaching because I want to serve him, but also I want to inherit the world. So I have resources to love like Jesus on as grand a scale as I possibly can. And I'm above creation. I'm in control. I'm not going to be mastered by those things, which I should be master over. No, I will master them. I'm not going to be in financial slavery. I'm going to be in financial mastery. It's financial sovereignty. I am in control rather than being controlled. I'm under God rather than thinking I am God. It's the best way I can describe it. Principle number 2. Law number 2. There's a reason I call them the laws. You follow them and succeed, or you don't and you fail. It's that simple. It really is. That's why principles are so good. They always work. If it's a principle and it only works some of the time, it's not really a very good principle. It's more of a guideline. A principle is something that you always do no matter what, period. It never changes. Second law, you always live on less than you make. Right now, I guess this is actually a little bit of an exception because you always live on less than you make. Sometimes you have a plan for it, right? But as a default, unless you've got a very good reason, you live on less than you make. You know, sometimes you have to spend more money because of X, Y, Z, and the third. But we strive to never spend more money than we take in on the company side or the personal side ever, period. Number 3, we have a written plan for our money. Jesus says it's a fool who sets out to build a tower and didn't count the cost, and so he gets halfway up building the tower, realizes he doesn't have enough materials, and everybody laughs at him and mocks him because he didn't count the cost. Count the cost. How much is it going to cost for you to live the lifestyle this month that you're planning on living? It's called a budget. How much is it going to cost for you to invest? And what's your plan for how you're going to invest? What's the blueprint for those investments? It's called an investment plan. Principle, law number 4. Run away from debt. Flee from debt. Stay out of debt. The borrower is slave to the lender, Proverbs 22:7. You've heard that one from Dave Ramsey. But here's another one that you probably haven't heard. Romans 13:8. Owe no one anything except love. Period. It's pretty clear. You know why? Because slaves are not building their own wealth. They're building their master's wealth. They're not building wealth. They're building their master's wealth. A slave does not get rich. A slave makes their master rich. And so if you are in slavery, you are not building your own wealth. You are not building your own life to the glory of God. You are building your master's wealth. And that's not something I signed up for. I want to build my house under God, not my house under a master who may or may not be under God. Capiche? One of the reasons I'm probably never going to vote to raise taxes. Because I don't want to give more money to a government that is not following the principles that I follow. If I'm going to be generous with money, which is principle 6, spoiler alert, I'm just going to do it myself, right? Oh, but Jab, there needs to be more money for Social Security. Somebody comes to me and I got the money, I will help them myself. I don't need the government to be the middleman, and we have to expand the bureaucracy to assist the expanding bureaucracy, right? Have you ever heard that before? That's basically the government for you. So we run from debt because we want to be free. That's simple. In the land of the free, in the home of the brave, we are such cowards that we've chosen to be slaves. That's sad. It's really sad. Step number 5, we're going to save and invest. Jesus commends the servants that took the master's resources and grew them. He condemns the servant that buried it in the ground and didn't even put it in the then equivalent of a high-yield savings account. He said you could have at least put the money in the money changers and earned some usury, which is also interest. You could have at least stuck it in a high-yield savings account and generated 5%. If you're not going to invest it, you could have at least made it grow to keep up with inflation. It's basically the 2024 equivalent of what he's saying, right? I'm not trying to transliterate too much because it's the word of God, right? But that's really kind of how you would apply that today, no? Principle number 6, we're going to be generous because God blesses a generous giver. My oldest son is named Malachi. In Malachi chapter 3, the last book of the Old Testament, Malachi chapter 3, verse 10, it says, "Bring ye all the tithes into the storehouse, that there may be meat in mine house, and prove me now herewith, saith the Lord of hosts, if I will not open you the windows of heaven, and pour you out a blessing, that there shall not be enough room to receive it, and I will rebuke the devourer," or the devil, "for your sakes. And he shall not destroy the fruits of your ground, neither shall your vine cast her fruit before the time in the field, saith the Lord of hosts." People say, "Oh, but Jeb, that was written to the Israelites to tithe to the Levites because they're running the temple. Is there not still a house of God? Does God not still love the generous giver who makes sure there's meat, or in this case, money, in God's house? Does God not still have a house? Is it not still the church? Does God not tell you to put him to the test for the only time in Scripture? Put me to the test. See if I won't bless you. We're radically generous because God will bless us and he smiles on that. But also, when you're radically generous, one of the ways he does that, it kind of makes you popular. You know, you walk into a bar. How do you become popular in 5 seconds? Saying, "Drinks on me." That's how you become popular. You're generous, right? And guess what happens? You make friends. Guess what happens? Those friends make you money. Guess what happens? You have more money than you gave in the first place. What goes around comes around, right? People have wrongly called it karma. It's not karma. It's just the principle of God that when you're generous, it comes back to you. You will sow to the degree with which you reap. Those are the principles that we follow. If you come to me with a decision and it does not include, or if it violates, rather, one of those principles, I'm not choosing it. I'm not doing it. Because I follow principles. And so here's the deal. Again, 10, 15-minute rant. How do we apply that to Bitcoin? Because I know sometimes you guys are like, "Oh my gosh, Jeb's talking about all this personal finance. I just came here for crypto." I get that. I want you to succeed in crypto. You've got to start with succeeding in these principles first. I've got to drill these into your head, even if you don't want to hear it. If you don't want to hear it, that's okay. I get it. It might not be the channel for you. This channel is not for everybody. It's not. And I recognize that. And I know I've alienated some of our audience. And ultimately, I'm sorry, but I'm okay with that because I want to teach you these principles. If you follow these principles and apply them to crypto, here's how you can succeed. Number one, when we choose FinSov, we're going to have control over our investments. How does that happen? We're going to understand what the market's doing. We're going to read up on technical analysis. We're going to know what's going on in the news. We're going to understand the value prop of Bitcoin and Ethereum. We're going to understand the progress of the Ethereum ETF. We're going to keep those things in mind because one of the ways you have mastery over something is you understand it and you keep track of it. Number two, we're going to live on less than we make. We're not investing in Bitcoin if we're broke. You're not an investor yet. See, there are two kinds of people in this world. Two kinds of people in this world. Two states of being that people can be in this world. You can be a chaotic debtor. In other words, your life's a mess, and you're in debt. Which they both kind of go hand in hand, right? If you think about it, you walk into your house and you got a bunch of laundry all over the place you got to do. You're kind of in debt, right? Because you have to fix that before you can go and have mastery. It's almost like a form of debt. It's not really, but it kind of is, right? A mess is kind of a form of debt. When you got a bunch of dishes in the sink, it's like you look over there, you're like, "Oh my God, I got to put 20 minutes into that." It's like I have a debt of 20 minutes of my time because I didn't stay on top of it. So you can go from a chaotic debtor to an intentional investor. I was a chaotic debtor. We are now intentional investors. We're not chaotic in the fact that we just do whatever comes in front of us. I know some very mature Christians, some very wise people that are lacking in this area. They and their life is a flipping mess. Everything about their life is, you want to know where they go? They're like a squirrel. It's just whatever's right in front of them. Now, we've got to be intentional. We've got to set some plans out. We've got to be intentional. And we've got to be building for the future. So principle number two is that we're not investing in Bitcoin and cryptocurrency if we don't have any freaking money. This is how you apply to Bitcoin. I want to buy Bitcoin, Jeb, because Jeb, you're saying that maybe not right now, maybe not in the next couple months, but in the next few months, it's going to go up above $72,000. That's great. Do you have money? Because if you're spending more money every month than you're bringing in, you are not an intentional investor, nor is it possible for you to be an intentional investor. Instead, you're a chaotic debtor. You've got to make more money or you got to cut expenses. Those are the only two things you can do. It's kind of a simple equation, right? Make more money or spend less. But do both of those as long as it takes to make more than you spend. If you've got to do open heart surgery on your finances and say, "I got to cut out this, I got to cut out this, I got to cut out this. Oh man, I can't eat out for the next 6 freaking months. That's terrible. Oh my goodness, I got to sell my fancy truck. I got to sell my fancy Escalade. I got to sell the G-Wagon. I got to sell so many things in my house that the kids think they're next, you know, as old Dave Ramsey says, right? Then do it. But you're not an investor if you're broke. You got to figure out the broke stuff because a lot of people are coming into crypto and this is unpopular. I don't care. I care more about you succeeding than about being popular. A lot of people are coming into crypto broke, thinking that investing in crypto is how they're going to not be broke anymore. It's not that's not how it works. You need a strong foundation to be an investor, even if it's in crypto. Excuse me. You need a strong foundation if you're going to be an investor. It's important. Step number 3. Fence off, live on less than you make, have a written plan. You need an investment plan. If you want to invest in Bitcoin, have a written plan. I give you this written plan. Every interval, we will invest X into Y on Z. Every Tuesday at 3 p.m., we will invest $100 into Bitcoin and Ethereum on crypto.com, whatever, right? That's the third step. If you're investing in crypto, follow that principle. Don't leave home without it. EDC that bad boy. Do it every day. Fourth principle, don't go into debt. I know of people that I've run into in coaching. And by the way, financial coaching links in the description box down below if you're interested. I know of people that I meet with in coaching that are buying into Bitcoin on debt. That is foolish. You're building a tower with termite-infested materials. You're having the life sucked out of you. But people say, oh, it's 0% interest. I'm investing somebody else's money. Exactly. You broke the first principle while you broke the fourth. It's somebody else's money. It's not your money. Capiche? So if you end up investing somebody else's money, that somebody else owns the money. Oh, man, I love my job. I love bursting people's bubbles sometimes when it's good for them. You know, when it's good for them. You're investing on debt. Okay, you're investing somebody else's money. So what that means is that not actually your money. You're making money to pay them back is what you're doing. So we follow the principle, we don't invest on debt. How does that play out? Well, you get out of at least all of your consumer debt, if not including your mortgage debt, before you truly become an investor. You're not truly an investor until you have no debt, until your mortgage is paid off. Now, you can be I think you can be an intentional investor even with a mortgage. But I would say you're not truly an investor, fully an investor, until you've got the mortgage paid off, because the investments that you're making are being pit against the things the liabilities that you owe. I want your net worth calculation to not be assets minus liabilities. I just want your net worth calculation to be assets. So that's the fourth principle. Don't invest in crypto on debt. Fifth principle, save and invest. Well, this is easy. This principle just says actually do it. After you've done the other 4, then start saving and investing. Generally speaking, this is covered in the FinSov way in more detail with the actual order of operations here. But after you've chosen to be FinSov, it's a heart posture, not even so much a physical posture, but it's a heart posture, because it's not about getting there. It's about moving there. It's not about being FinSov. It's about moving in the direction of FinSov. It's not about being perfect. It's about moving towards perfection. It's not about being a perfect person. It's about moving towards being a perfect person, knowing that you will never get there in this life, but you're at least going to get closer if you try. We choose FinSov. It's a heart posture. Step number 2, we live on less than we make so that we can actually do the rest of the steps. Step number 3, we have a budget. Step number 4, we get out of debt. And after we've done these things, then we get the opportunity to be an investor. We start saving and investing. That's why it's the 5th law, because there's an order to it. Like you go through it in an order. So then you start actually investing. We talked about our investment plan. Now we're going to actually put that pedal to the metal. We're going to put pen to paper. We're going to put rubber on the road, and we're going to actually invest. We're going to buy Bitcoin, and we're going to buy Ethereum on a regular, recurring basis. After that, we're going to be radically generous. Not after that, but during that time, and especially after that, after you've grown a lot of wealth, you get to be radically generous. You see, here's the thing. Every single dollar that you make in your entire life will go out of your hands. But you will be rewarded. You'll be rewarded for the dollars that go out of your hands for the right reason and with the right heart. And so it's my dream to be as generous as I possibly can with my wealth. Like the portion of how much of my wealth should I give right now to how much of my wealth should I get working for me so I can give even more later. It's a question I have all the time. But I will give away all my wealth in my life, and so will you, by the way. So will you. So will you. I know somebody who passed away last year. Wicked individual. This person was a horrible, horrible person. Unspeakable things that this individual did. Unspeakable. Horrible. Terrible. I would get the video would get taken down if I repeated some of the things this individual did. They got injured, got a settlement, was getting like $250,000 a year in mail money, right? Because of some lawsuit. At the very last few days, I think they were saved in the very last few minutes, but in the last few minutes, in the last few days of their life, they did not want to give it away. They could not stand the idea of anybody getting any of their wealth, so they would not do anything about a will because they hated the idea of losing their wealth, losing their money, because they knew they were dying. They knew they only had a few days left. And so they hated the idea of the money leaving their hands. Even that person had to let go of it. You will at least be rewarded if the money leaves your hands in a generous way. So what's your plan for being generous with the wealth? I understand some of this is missing some of you guys. Some of you are like, oh my gosh, can we talk about crypto? We are talking about crypto. And those who have ears to hear and eyes to see, let them see and hear. Because if you follow these principles with your investments, then we get the opportunity to talk about the actual technical analysis. But that's surface level. I can teach you TA all day, and if I don't teach you these 6 laws, you will fail. You will fail. And the people that have been following this for a long time in chat said amen. Let's hear it in chat. Am I right? Am I wrong? To the people following exactly what we're teaching, does it work? Is it true? We'll talk about specifics. I understand we have a lot of specifics to talk about. But it's true. Follow FinSov, and you will succeed. Davey Boy saying, can we talk about crypto? Enough yapping. I am happy to talk about crypto. Happy to. Nobody ever only invests what they can afford to lose. Sure they do. I do. I do. I could lose all of our investments. That'd be okay. I have a job. I have a business. Right? I'm an entrepreneur. Been a business owner since I was 17 years old. I have an income, and we have a fully funded emergency fund. If I lost every single penny that we had in our investments, it would suck. But we'd be okay. Our standard of living right now, anyway, wouldn't change a bit. At all. Other than we would probably cut even deeper than we already do, because we already save and invest a lot of money. We'd probably cut even deeper to invest more to get back to where we were. But lifestyle wouldn't change at all. Other than, you know, again, like I said, maybe investing a little more to get back to where we are. So, yeah, I do. I do. Do you? Does anybody else in chat here invest only what they can afford to lose? See, here's the thing. Here's part of what's baked into that. And this is the concept, and I want to keep preaching this, even though it's unpopular in crypto, because the problem is the culture, not what I'm saying. And I know that's a bold statement. I don't care. The culture in crypto's got this wrong. People are saying, don't invest more than you're willing to lose, which is true. Guess what? The culture's not at the same time, because it's unpopular, saying, don't invest when you have debt. Because if you have debt, you can't afford to lose it because you owe a master money. So if you've got $100,000 in debt and you've got $120,000 in investments, you've got $20,000 in investments, and you've got $100,000 that you owe the debtor, the debt collector. You can't afford to lose $100,000 of the $120,000. And if it drops just a little bit, you're screwed because you owe money. I remember being in a lot of debt, right? I remember having debt. I remember it. I remember having consumer debt. It sucked. I remember vividly the fear of opening the mailbox because I was worried that the IRS was going to be sending me something saying, we're going to garnish your wages or we're going to take your car or whatever. It's funny because they'd be sending the mail to the company addressed to me because I had been stupid and screwed up withholding. And I owe the IRS $20,000. I'm not kidding. I have the, right? I keep it. I keep that bit just to remind myself. You know, it's been a long time since we paid it off, right? But screwed it up. Screwed it up. I had no idea what I was doing with money. I thought, oh, I'll just offshore that. I'll just let somebody else handle that. Dumb idiot. I was the moron running a business that thought that he could let somebody else, you know, manage all the money. It was dumb. It was so freaking stupid. And guess what happens when you're not sovereign over your wealth? You end up having stupid things like a $20,000 IRS bill happen. Had to pay that off, right? Doesn't feel good when you get a letter in the mail saying, we will very soon be able to garnish you. Doesn't feel good. Feels really bad. Feels terrible. I also remember what it was like to be debt-free. No non-mortgage debt. I remember what that felt like. It felt amazing. And so I want to help you guys be there because I want you to live on less than you make, and I want you to invest more. I want you to only invest what you can afford to lose, but I can certainly afford to lose what we've invested. I don't want to, but I could. I could if I had to. I want to let you guys know a little bit about Vault. We're going to go a little over today because I've been rambling quite a bit, and I don't want that to take away from the points we're going to make in crypto. One of the first things I want you guys to check out is Vault. If you guys have not already, Vault is a form of... I'm going to put it out here. Vault didn't ask me to share it this way, but I'm going to share it this way. Vault is a form of insurance. Vault is a form of insurance. I think we can all agree that insurance is a good idea. We've got health insurance, we've got car insurance, we've got home insurance, we've got, you've got your dog insurance, you've got your couch insurance, you've got insurance on that, that JBL Flip 4 speaker you bought from Best Buy 3 years ago. We live in a culture where we kind of intrinsically understand that insurance, not all insurance, but insurance in general is a good idea. There's stupid insurance like whole life insurance. There's stupid insurance like the insurance policy you took out on that, that reversible kitten that you bought for your kid, where it like reverses and it's a kitten and it reverses and it's an octopus. Like you bought a $3 insurance plan on that. That's stupid, right? Insurance on your life insurance, insurance on your home, insurance on your car, insurance on your health. Those are good insurances. We insure things that are valuable, which is why it's dumb to insure something that's not valuable. I would like to think that your crypto investment portfolio, if you've been following our channel for a while, is valuable. And so, therefore, it needs insurance. And so, the way that we insure our Bitcoin is with Vault. This is one of the ways that we can do this. The way this works is that you have two keys. Should you lose one of them, Uphold has a backup key. The reason this is basically insurance is because if you lose a key, Uphold can fix it. It's that simple. It's $49.99 a year, guys, to insure thousands of dollars or hundreds of thousands of dollars of Bitcoin, as I know some of you guys have. It felt like an interview because I was like, whoa, this guy's awesome. One of you guys, I don't know if you're in chat, wrote a book. I won't say which book because my southern draw came out. One of you guys wrote a book and bought $5 million of Bitcoin miners and mines a Bitcoin every 5 days. Some of you guys are loaded. I've met people that have built $2 billion companies in coaching. I've met some crazy, awesome people in financial coaching. $50 a year is a price that anybody that has a lot of money would be totally willing to pay in case they lose a key, that they have a backup key. It's worth it. Check it out. Uphold.com/vault. Go to the link in the description box down below to sign up through our link. It helps to support the channel and let Vault know that you came from us. All right. Make sure to hit that like button if you have not already. Really appreciate all of you guys tuning in. Let's talk about this article here. We're going to try and wrap it out before the top of the hour because I got to go and make today's afternoon video as well. But Bitcoin and crypto closing out lame quarter, and one analyst believes more pain could be in store. The price of Bitcoin has dipped nearly 15% during the second quarter, and altcoins fared even worse. That's true. Bitcoin's disappointing second quarter price action for now can possibly be thought of as a correction within a larger bull market move. We saw the token rise fivefold from January 2023, lows to a new all-time high record above $73,500. Anticipation of the spot Bitcoin Ethereum, the spot Bitcoin ETF approval, then the massive inflows into the new fund were surely major catalysts for the rise. Also in play were macro factors, namely the anticipation of a sizable series of interest rate cuts in 2024 from the U.S. Federal Reserve. Inflation, however, has failed to cooperate, and to date there's been no easing of monetary policy in the United States, with more than one member of the central bank now not expecting to cut rates even once this year, which I would agree with that. I would be surprised at this point if we do see any rate cuts this year. With ETF inflows old news, and even on occasion reversing to outflows and hopes for lower interest rates diminishing daily, buyers appear to have taken to the sidelines until a new catalyst arises, which is true. And so I want to address that idea. These are catalysts that were always going to be like medium term. First of all, the interest rate cuts not happening doesn't mean they're never going to happen. They probably will happen. It's almost a good thing because we got a lot of bullishness out of the idea that they were going to happen. And then they didn't happen, so now they still sit on the horizon waiting to happen. It might be next year, probably will be next year at this point before we see anything. But when we do start to see rate cuts happen, that will lead to a rally on the stock market, which will lead to a rally in Bitcoin. It'll also lead to, unfortunately, I vehemently hate debt, but it will lead to this culture of people are like, oh, debt just got cheaper, so let's go borrow it, because the way that the world looks at it is that if debt's cheaper, then it's easier to make a return on the interest rate. So it's going to be important when that drops because of the way the market's going to respond to it. It's not going to make a difference to us specifically, but to the market it's going to make a difference, and it'll lead to a rally. It's still going to happen. It's not going to happen yet, but it's still going to happen. Bitcoin inflows are a major factor that are going to become less and less important over time, but they're always going to be a metric people are going to follow. And they're kind of like this gas. Whenever you go into a new rally, it's a little bit like nitrous. you put the pedal down 20%, man, there's just a little extra gas in the tank than you thought was in there, because people are going to say, oh man, another $2 billion of inflows. Awesome, let's buy some more. And it helps the market go parabolic. Now, those are those two concepts. The other concept I want to talk about is the Ethereum ETF. The entire thing is going to repeat when the Ethereum ETF goes online, and we have some insider reports that the ETF could be going online as early as this week. When that happens, you're going to see the exact same thing happening in crypto that you saw in January, where the ETF goes online. Maybe it causes a drop at the beginning. We predict 4 to 14 days of corrective movement after the Ethereum ETF goes online. We predicted that it would go online by July the 10th based on the report that we were seeing. Worst case scenario, it goes online by the beginning of September, but it could go online as soon as July the 10th. From there, there will be a major rally because there will be a lot of inflows into Ethereum. It has not even hit all-time high yet. Investors see a huge amount of potential in ETH because of the amount of things built out on top of Ethereum. You see, when you buy into Bitcoin, you're buying into Bitcoin, and kind of as an extension of the rest of the crypto market, when you buy into Ethereum, you're buying into the number 2 largest crypto, so you're kind of investing in the whole crypto market as like a fund of it, but you're also investing in the largest cryptocurrency that has the most stuff going on it. Half of DeFi is on Ethereum. Most of NFT is still on Ethereum. So that's going to be very attractive to investors that are looking for a way to buy it in retirement accounts, that are looking for a way to buy it on brokerage accounts, that are looking for, that are registered financial advisors, that are looking for the ability to actually recommend it. It's going to be a big deal. So that's coming. On top of that, we saw the Bitcoin halving, and we know that the Bitcoin halving does not always lead to an immediate rally on Bitcoin. Instead, oftentimes, it ends up taking a lot longer. It ends up taking a year before you start to see bullishness from the Bitcoin halving. So that's coming, and so we get to be bullish about that. So let's stay tuned. I don't think that we're going to see necessarily the craziest Q3. I think Q4 and Q1 of 2025 is where we're going to start to see a lot more bullishness. But there's a lot of bullish events on the horizon, and I think there's a lot of room to go. So let's keep the confidence. I think we're going to be just fine. Guys, I do also want to let you know you guys know about something. Give me 1 second, because this is really cool. Very, very excited about this. Today, in particular, is happy birthday to you, right? Today is, and this popped up in another tab. Sorry that I'm not logged in, but today is the 8th birthday of Crypto.com. Just turned 8 years old. Oh, it's going into elementary school. It's our 8th anniversary today, and we're celebrating with 8 exclusive prizes, including 1 Bitcoin. But first, we're kicking off with $8,888 of Crow for a lucky winner. I want you to go and check out this post. I'm going to go ahead and put it in the chat. And the reason I want you to check this out is because Crypto.com turning 8, big deal. It also just goes to show you that Crypto.com is a very important member of the community. I haven't even been in the crypto space for 8 years. I will have been in the crypto space for 7 years on July 31st. So my 7th anniversary is coming up. Their 8th anniversary just happened. Definitely a place that you want to go and check out. If not because it's their birthday, which you should. You should also check out Crypto.com because in those 8 years, they have become trusted by over 100 million users worldwide. They've got the absolute best user interface in the entire game, and they are the simplest to use. And there's a ton of different ways to build wealth on Crypto.com. You've got your on-chain staking, which is a very important part of wealth generation these days in cryptocurrency. You've got the Crypto Earn program over here where you can generate yield on your Bitcoin and on your Ethereum, 5 and 5.5%. As private members, you can earn even more than that. And if you are a large fish, then there are even ways that you can build generational wealth for much larger accounts as well that are worth over $1 million. So huge amount of wealth that you can build in cryptocurrency when you sign up for Crypto.com. So make sure to go and wish them a happy birthday by signing up. Really appreciate all of you guys for tuning in. Hope you guys have enjoyed today's stream. Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. We've got a lot of content coming. Crypto Independence said, my parents did nothing right. They didn't teach me about money. You taught me, Jeb. I'm sure they did something right, but I'm so sorry to hear that it sounds like they didn't do a whole lot of it. That's kind of how it is. I really, my dad got a lot right. He got some stuff wrong, and I was very blessed to have him as a father. I want to be the best dad that I can possibly be to my children. I've told my wife this. I've told my kids this, my 3-year-old this. I'm like, I want you to go farther than I ever went, but I want to make it really freaking hard for you. I want you to have to fight to not be in my shadow because I did something crazy in my life. And I do want you to overshadow me. I do want that. But I want you to have to work for it. I don't want it to be like, man, I took the trash out and I'm better than my dad, right? I want it to be, for you to love your wife better than I love my wife, you're going to have to work. For you to love your God better than I love my God, you're going to have to work for it. For you to love like Jesus more than I did, you're going to have to work at it. I want to set the bar really freaking high, and then I want to see them set it even higher, and I want to see that happen for generations after generations, and I'm going to show you guys how I plan to do that for the next, 70 years I'm here on YouTube. I will be doing content on YouTube or on some kind of public medium talking about FinSoft till the cows come home, till hell freezes over, till the sun stops rising, whatever it may be, till I am old and gray and crazy and don't make any sense anymore. So I'm going to be here for a very long time. Subscribe to the channel and stay tuned. We've got a lot of educational content coming. Guys, I'm building a school. I'm building a school. I've been wanting to build the school that I'm building right now for about a decade. And I finally feel like I'm getting to the point where I have enough authority to actually do it. Because I don't want to just build a school just to pat myself on the back, just to make a little bit of money and say, all right, look at this. I got a school. Oh, everybody's got a teachable. No, I want to build a school where you guys can come and learn. And we can learn from each other, and you guys can teach me, I can teach you, but I've got a lot of things to teach you guys. I want to build a school where you guys can come, and we can build a radical amount of wealth together. That is called the Financial Sovereignty Academy, and it is being built right now, behind the scenes. We're working on building the baby right now. We're already over 32 weeks pregnant, so our main focus is on that at the moment, but we're building a school, and I'm going to teach you guys how to be financially sovereign, the way that we've become financially sovereign. So stay tuned. When the FinSov Academy comes out, when we start writing our books and they start coming out, don't forget the sound of my voice, because it's not going anywhere, and I'm going to be teaching you the exact same thing. Even if you tune out today and you come back in 10 years, I'm going to be right here doing the exact same thing. I will be here, even if you're not. We've got a lot to teach you. I want you to succeed, and we're only going to get better at teaching it, so make sure to stay tuned. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. We got a big vision. I want to give $1 billion to the kingdom of God. $1 billion, not with an M, a B, $1 billion. I want to give $1 billion through tithes, offerings, generosity, whatever it may be, to the kingdom. I want you to come alongside me on that so that we can start raising money, so we can start being a blessing to other people, and so that we can have an awesome life. I want to leave this life looking back saying, man, I lived. You heard that song by, who is it? Was it Avicii? I think it's called The Days, right? I lived. I lived. My father told me when I was just a boy. What is that song? Yeah, it's The Days. I used to listen to this song all the time when I was first starting the channel. Let's see. Yep, these are the days. No, it's the nights. I'm sorry. He wrote 2 songs. Yep. One day, my father, he told me, son, don't let it slip away. He took me in his arms. I heard him say, when you get older, your wild heart will live for younger days. Think of me if ever you're afraid. He said, one day you'll leave this world behind, so live a life you will remember. My father told me when I was just a child, these are the nights that never die. Live a life you'll remember. Live an awesome life. You've got dreams, chase them. Don't let that die. I'm 23 now. I'll be 24 soon. I refuse to ever lose the hunger I have for life because I'm older. I may not be 17 anymore. I am never going to lose the fire that I have for this life. I was given one life, and I'm going to make something out of it. And the way I'm going to do that is by loving my God, loving my wife and kids, and by loving you guys enough to share with you how to do the same. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, share the stream with somebody you think might find it valuable. And before we go, I do just first want to thank each and every single last one of you for watching, as always. And I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.
Oh, I got a real good feeling.